Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of achieving a 300-pound weight loss in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the live discussion like Rick and Linda and Anthony and Our Tiny Acres and Pretty Girl's mom here already today, you can join me most weekdays where I go live at 4 p.m. Central Time. Or outside of my live stream, if you want to reach out to me, you can consider joining the Discord I created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also, down in the description below, there's a link to a Pinterest board. What that Pinterest board has is links to a lot of our family's favorite whole food, plant-based meals. So if you're looking to get some ideas of what we're eating while we are losing weight, that is a great place to check that out. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear those. It is weigh-in Wednesday, so if you have any on-scale victories, I'd love to hear those as well. How are you doing on your diets? Are you succeeding? Are you struggling? What's keeping you from succeeding? What are some things that you are going to do that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Christy, hello, and Amy, hello to you as well. I am going to switch over to the weigh-in here. I did bump my camera like 3 times during that intro, so I have no idea what it's going to look like. I might have to make some adjustments, and I do. Not too bad, though. Okay, so a quick recap here. In November of 2020, I decided to start this weight loss challenge. I had a starting weight of 519.8 pounds. Over the course of the past 709 days, I have been able to lose over 221 pounds, bringing my current weight to 298.6. I'm going to go ahead and hop on the scale here. Anthony says he's betting 294. My big goal this week, for anybody that's been following me, has been to just stay under 300 for another week. So let's see what I do or how it goes. $296.2 is a 2.4 pound weight loss. So that's almost 2.5 pounds. 296.2. Let me write that here. Oh, come on, computer. Why are you going so slow? 296.2. So 2.4 pounds lost this past week. That is amazing. I'm extremely excited or extremely happy to have had the weight loss and to just continue to have multiple pounds come off every week while I am 700 days into this is really awesome. And it's very encouraging that what I'm doing right now is making a difference. A bunch of congratulations, Rick. Thank you, Anthony. Says yay. Linda, Our Tiny Acres, thank you. Barb, thanks. Pretty Girl's mom was guessing 295. Not quite there. Next week we'll hit that 295, or maybe even the 294 that Anthony was predicting for today. But yeah, so 2.5 pounds. And it's really been mostly diet. Carrie says, late to the party, way to go. Ann says, howdy, hi, Ann. I hope you're having a great day. 2.5 pounds. And I ate plenty of food. Today, I was a little bit lower on the calorie count, or I had less volume of food today, but it was a little bit of timing. I ended up not eating my breakfast till very late, so I didn't end up having much of a lunch today because I wasn't very hungry and I knew I had to weigh in, so that kind of affected it a bit too, I suppose. But yeah, it's really encouraging that I'm losing the weight. I'm sticking to the plan. I've been, faced with a few temptations, but nothing that is been anything I couldn't get by or get past or find an alternate to eating. Like I said yesterday, I think that adding lunch and making lunch is just a very simple, basic potatoes and broccoli or just, leftovers from the night before, but nothing too crazy. It helps keep my overall calorie density down for the day because I'm not looking for food at the end of the day as much as I was when I first started this. So, and it does feel like my diet has really simplified versus what we were kind of doing there for the past year, which is not a bad thing. Having the variety in the diet was great, and we tried lots of new things, but for, my weight loss, us kind of having 4 or 5 core meals that we are rotating through has been beneficial as well. And when I cook myself stuff, it's usually fairly simple. It's just potatoes and some veggies, and nothing too wild. Our Tiny Acres says you were down to 281.2 this morning and you love seeing it go down. That's awesome. I'm happy that you are seeing success on the scale too. Pretty Girl's mom says you're doing great. Now this weekend coming up, just pretend Carrie is out of town for another big loss. Lucky for me, Pretty Girl's mom, Carrie will be out of town all next week. So I think that with the way things are going, by the end of next week, I will probably be down to 230 pounds without having Carrie here for 5 days. But yes, I just need to pretend like Carrie's out of town all the time and just make my own food. Speaking of food, I don't know that I took a lot of photos. I don't know what's going on with my phone. Why won't it let me turn the flashlight? Oh, because that's on. Let me see what I took for photos here for food since yesterday. So we had the spaghetti squash. So yesterday evening. Oh, yesterday was a crazy day. So yesterday, we have a nonprofit Carrie runs. We're having Linda's meatloaf. That's something we haven't actually had for a while, but is something that I'm a big fan of. So I'm excited about Linda's meatloaf for dinner tonight. Yesterday, for dinner, it was, we had rice and beans, for dinner. And then today for breakfast, I had our regular oatmeal. So I'll show that real quick, and then I'm going to talk about yesterday evening and just everything overall. So that was breakfast today. Oatmeal, spinach, onions, mushrooms, steel cutouts, oat groats. Highly recommend trying oatmeal for breakfast if you don't already eat oatmeal for breakfast. And if you don't eat oat groats, I really recommend eating oat groats. I just love mashing up those groats in my mouth, and there's something satisfying about it, oddly satisfying about it. But there is some smell-o-vision there for you. This is really an awesome breakfast, and I love having it. But that was the only other photo I took, was actually in the break room. I was giving my wife a hard time because in the break room now there is bananas and oranges in the break room, and my thing is behind here, so give it a second to catch up. So then I'll talk about the photo that I have up. So there's bananas and oranges on the break room table, and I thought it was funny because previously this bowl was filled with candy. And so my wife's been coming into work, and she decided to add a little bit of color to the break room and threw some oranges and bananas in there. So I took a photo of that. I did eat a banana today. I guess I didn't take a photo, and an orange. So having that around was nice. And the vegans have moved in, Carrie says, to the office. So that was another photo I took from that. Yeah, last night was kind of cool. Carrie has this nonprofit. We help provide diapers to low-income families, and we did a card tournament last night. There's a game called Euchre. It's a card game that's kind of popular in this region. If you're not from the Midwest, you might not know what Euchre is, but it's a game. We had a fundraiser last night, and it was great to be out and doing that fundraiser. The first thing that I think of about like the fundraiser and where it was at a bar, and the setup was that most of the tables at the bar were a bar height tables. And in the past, when I was 500 pounds, I would sit at a bar height table, and I would survive, but I would definitely dread sitting at a bar height table versus sitting at a regular table. Maybe not as much as sitting at a booth, but sitting at a bar height table is, or was not comfortable at all. It would, the whole time you're trying to find a way to support yourself without sliding off the chair, and it can be very frustrating. And so, immediately yesterday, I noticed how much more comfortable I was in that type of chair, and that's mainly because of my size. Also, it was very crowded. And had I not lost this weight, I would have felt maybe more claustrophobic, or not as, I wouldn't have, more self-conscious about my size. But right now, I don't remember, Our Tiny Acre says that they always thought it was short because they were short is why they slide off of them. Yeah. Well, I could see being short having a hard time getting braced on, the chairs themselves. But yes, I definitely don't like them. The social aspect of being out though was great. Being not self-conscious about the way I look and feel, and really right now I don't know that I've ever felt as thin as I feel now. I have really, especially, now that I'm getting in under 300 pounds, I'm really starting to feel like I have a my body is slender, but it's not like, that's not the right, because um I feel more like an up and down cylinder than a cone as far as like my upper body, because that's always been kind of the way I've held weight, has been in my hips and in my belly. And so I definitely feel more like a cylinder than I do a pear, or like I said, a triangle that I did before. And it's really nice. It's um I think also some of it too is that my skin is probably looser than it's ever been in my life as well, because I was never 500 pounds before. So when I was this weight before, my skin might not have been as saggy as it is now. I'm sure it was saggy. Like I can remember um, it being saggy, but it actually feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel as saggy, I guess, but it does feel like I said, I feel like I'm in better shape and condition, and it's really hard to sit here and compare myself to uh, 8 years ago, because at the time I felt amazing then as well. Um, but that was there was so much of that diet was built on restriction. And while I was losing weight, uh, I was not eating a lot. And so I don't feel like I was uh, I in the moment I felt great and I felt like I was doing amazing. But in hindsight, I look back and realize that I was just kind of getting by on very little calories and prescriptions that were helping me lose the weight. So this time, I definitely feel like I've earned how I feel right now, and that it was all me. Uh, that was kind of a goal going in with this channel, is that I it's been so many years falling for gimmicks or doing programs, and I was feeling, kind of realizing that that you know right now, I guess now especially, I realize that it's all a trap. It's all this cycle that they want you to stay in. And I I I was thinking of it like it's almost like this weird, I want to say it's a prison analogy where um people are, we're in this prison that is massive. It's so big that we don't even realize that it's got walls. But the prison that we're in is kind of this this food ideology that we have to have certain things, or that moderation's okay. We eat a balanced diet. You can have this chocolate bar as long as you eat that bag of broccoli. Or uh and the crazy thing to me though is I feel like that I used to be in this prison, and that there's so many people that are still in this prison where they don't realize that they're buying brown food because somebody put it in a red box. Like they wouldn't buy that food if it was just laying on the counter, or if it was just in a clear bag, it wouldn't be appealing. But because it's in a box and it's got a cartoon character in it, and it says on the front that it's packed with these extra vitamins and minerals, that we buy those items. And we just assume that the food industry is watching out for us, and they wouldn't let anybody hurt us or produce anything that would hurt us. And it all is, seen as us having this democratic choice. It's your choice to eat this food. we just produce, the food industries just produce products, and it's up to the consumers to choose what to buy. And it's not the food companies' faults that the consumers are buying the high sugar, high fat items. I feel like since I've started this channel, that I've taken myself out of that prison, and I'm in this much bigger world that I didn't even really realize existed, that it doesn't have these constraints on the things I thought that it did, and when you look at the diet I eat now, when I sit here and say I eat a whole food, plant exclusive or plant-based diet with no added salt, oil, or sugar, people, they immediately think of restrictions, and it's not a restrictive diet. Like, it sounds restrictive, but it's far more freeing than the way I used to eat and the things that I used to be drawn to, and and it's real food that my body can do stuff with. Like, there's so much about the food that is on the shelves now that they put into that food to just to give it a color, just to make it last on the shelf longer, to give it sweetness without adding calories, to do all of these things. They add these chemicals to these foods that we eat, that we just assume is okay because it's they're allowed to sell it. But what we don't realize, that a lot of that stuff is just like, in the way I've thought about, like, especially like the sodas and the diet sodas, like, is that it's like eating plastic or eating fake food. Like, there's nothing about these preservatives that you need to have, and it's only in there for the benefit of keeping the food fresh. It doesn't have anything to do with your digestion, and it probably screws up your digestion in some ways. But it's just not real food, but they pass it off as real food, and or they don't really clue you into the fact of what you're putting into your body isn't, like, to make a diet soda sweet, they have to add something to it to make it sweet. And in a regular soda, they add sugar, which has calories, but diet sodas are calorie free. And so they add this sweetener that to your tongue has sweetness, but to your body has no value. Because if it had value, there'd be calories in it. It would be, if there was something usable within a diet soda, then it would have calories. It would have some sort of makeup, but instead it's just sodium and undigestible sweeteners. Like, it's and I might be wrong about some of that, but I just feel like getting away from the processed foods has been incredibly beneficial, and has been a huge part of my success. Carrie says that you like that I did this and that you did help. Yes, you did a lot. And I'm happy that I started this too. I'm happy that I had an open mind going into it, and that I, am trying this way of eating. It really, it ticked one big box for me that I didn't realize was so important, but it is that volume that you get to eat, the volume eating, the calorie density, that, I don't know that at any point in my life it would have registered or it would have clicked like it did this time, but it definitely did this time, and I'm very happy that because I've always sat here and said, I wish I could eat less volume of food, you know, and and to me, it was in my head, I would say, I wish I could eat like somebody who's 180 pounds or somebody who's 200 pounds. And um, what I didn't realize is um, that some people everybody's is different, and we all consume different volumes of food. And if you were to map out everybody on a bell curve of what volume of food that they have to eat to be satisfied, there would be people on the low end here, but as you got, to the middle of the bell curve, that's where most people end up being. Let's say they eat 3 pounds of food a day and they're satisfied. But then you go to the far end of the bell curve, and those people have to eat 4 or 5 pounds of food or 6 pounds of food to be satisfied. And I am somebody who's on that far end of the bell curve where I have to eat a large volume of food to be satisfied. There's some people, and we all know these skinny people that are eating junk food and they're staying skinny. And the big reason why they are is because that's the only food they're maybe eating for that day. Like, you see them eating that junk food lunch, but what you don't see is them going home and either not eating much or eating a low calorie dense dinner. But that's just because that person can survive eating 2.5 pounds of food a day and be happy. But I can't. I have to eat lots of food, and I find myself at night thinking, even now, like, I'm going for seconds. Do I really need seconds? And I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter because the calorie density is so low. And that's what this diet has done for me, has been able to say, hey, you don't have to fight that natural part of your body that wants to fill up and eat a lot of food. You don't have to fight that anymore. You just have to choose better foods when you do that. And like I said, I don't know that would have clicked before, or how, how to get that to click in people. But if you are grossly overweight like I was, then it's because your body craves a large volume of food, and you can still give in to those cravings to have large volumes of food and lose weight. I mean, I had a huge bowl of rice and beans last night. I didn't take a photo of it. That oatmeal I eat is large volumes. I'm eating seconds many times for dinner, and I'm still losing 2.5 pounds a week. And it's awesome. It's amazing. And Barb says, yeah, skinny may not equal healthy. Those people that are eating that junk food and still skinny, that doesn't mean healthy. Right. And it's going to be something too that, I don't feel like necessarily all the time fat means unhealthy, because I feel like I'm extremely healthy right now and I'm still extremely fat. So everybody can be in different spots, but, so like I said, if you're somebody sitting there going, I just can't stop eating all day, at the end of the day, I'm having, cravings, and I'm just going back to the pantry again and again and again, then you gotta look at changing the density of the food that you keep going back to again and again and again. And and it's so weird. I feel like I'm eating all the time sometimes. Like, I come to work and I bring my oatmeal in with me in the morning, and I eat in the morning, and then lunch rolls around and I'm eating a big lunch, and it takes time to eat a big lunch. If I was going to fast food, then a lot of times I would have half the meal finished before I got back to work. And so it would be 5 minutes of eating food. But with the food I'm eating now, it takes a lot more time to eat because it's a larger volume. And then I go home and I eat, and I still lose weight. and it's because of the foods that I'm choosing to eat. Uh, I've had a little bit more activity, but I mean, it isn't. I'm not going and doing 90 minutes at the gym every day. I'm playing more with my kids at night. I'm taking the dog maybe for an extra walk a week, or playing fetch with the dog, or taking it to the dog park, or doing just more events like last night, just being more social. I did a lot of steps yesterday evening. Oh, excuse me. I did a lot of steps yesterday evening, being more social, that I wouldn't have done 3 years ago. And so, just that may not contribute to pounds of weight loss last night, but it might contribute to tenths of pounds of weight loss. And if I do that 10 days in a month, then I've lost a pound because I was a little more social, or um, and so it kind of, it does a little bit of snowballing there for you. The, uh, yeah, so last night was great. I feel great. Uh, and I'm looking forward to the next couple weeks. I very busy with work. I'm hoping that some of the things that I have been building up towards getting done actually get completed by the end of this month. So that's going to be really nice to have that stress alleviated from my plate, I suppose. But then it's just going to bring on, a whole bunch of more responsibilities and stress. So, the, I don't know that I have a whole lot more. Um, I'm very happy. I'm really excited. Am, I, my goal was to stay under 300. I've stayed under 300. I lost some more weight, which is great too. That was what I really wanted to do, was lose more weight. And I am seeing currently the amount of weight come off that I need to see come off each week. If I want to reach my goal of getting to 220 pounds, I need to be losing 7-8 pounds a week. And in order to do, or no, 7 or 8 pounds a month. In order to do that, I have to have these weeks where I'm losing 2.5 pounds a week. And then we'll go from there. So, Colleen says, nice progress. By the way, any favorite banana recipes? The only thing that I've done, I like bananas on their own. And obviously bananas and peanut butter, but I'm trying to avoid that nut butter, so I don't do that much. The only thing that I've really done with bananas is I've mixed it with some rolled oats. Some people have recommended having just having rolled oats with some fruit and nut milk, like soy milk, and that has been the only really banana recipe that I would have for you. Carrie might have some banana recipes. I don't know if I doubt there's anything. I'm trying to think. Banana and ice cream, yeah, is kind of way to get that sweet tooth. I feel like we made like banana pancakes or something with bananas in it. But yeah, I don't have much for that. But I have been eating a lot more bananas, and I do recommend that you eat more bananas. I always thought of a single banana as being a snack, but 2 bananas is a snack of bananas. That's kind of what I've been working on. Colleen says that you haven't lost weight in 3 weeks, but you haven't been compliant. You're working on it, but you've also upped your workouts. Yeah, it's tough. That compliance is so important. The, you know, um, that's, and you know it. I mean, you said it here. You know that you haven't been compliant, and it's tough to deal with that. I mean, but you can't be real frustrated because you know what's going on. You know what you have to do to get it to go the way you want. But you're still making the choice not to, so that's kind of where I felt like I was for the past 11 months. That like I knew what I was supposed to do and I was still making a choice. And, I just had to get out of that headspace. I had to say, I had to recommit myself. I had to refocus and remind myself of what my goal is. I was letting the temporary pleasures override my overall goals. And, I keep saying it and, and I have to follow what I'm saying, is that, that, that myth of moderation, the myth that a little bit of something is okay. It doesn't go away if you let it hang out in your diet. If the things that you're afraid to let go of, they won't go away when you keep going back to them. But the further you get away from them, the easier it is to stay away from those temptations. So for me, it was the Ezekiel bread, let's say, that I felt like I had to keep eating the Ezekiel bread and the nut butter and the, like I knew I could be making a better choice. But I was still making I kind of got lost there. But it is a choice and you need to refocus. It's tough though, because there might be a reason why, like I feel like that past 11 months, it happened for a reason. And it happened because of things that weren't maybe at the front of my mind about what I was believing or what I thought was true or what, what it was gonna end up. There's a lot of subconscious stuff, I guess is what I'm getting at, that I can look at in hindsight and I can be like, maybe that's why I was having such a hard time giving that up but in the moment, it was tough to see that other side of it. It was like, well, it's just this time. I haven't had it since a week ago. I haven't done this for so long. It's rewarding myself for the past, for what my past self did. That was some of it. Like realizing that I was rewarding myself for being compliant for the last 4 days, but the person who was getting rewarded was no longer being the person that was receiving the award. I mean, if you get what I'm saying, like the second that I gave into that temptation, then I quit being that person who deserved that reward. And so I had to realize that I have to find different rewards and that I can't keep, or I can't keep using that excuse, or I can't keep that, because it's a cycle that will just get worse. You know, it'll go from, hey, it's been a week since I did that, so I deserve it, to, oh, it's been 5 days since I have done that, so I deserve it. Oh, it's been 2 days. Well, you know, it's been a whole 24 hours since I had it. And then you do kind of do other things, like you upped your workout. You upped your workouts because you knew your food wasn't as good, or you use the fact that you upped your workouts as the reason why you got to reward yourself with these foods that weren't compliant. I did a 200 calorie workout. It's okay if I eat this 200 this food that's higher calorie density or more calories because I did that workout. And a lot of times by doing that, you just net zero gain. If you wouldn't have worked out and you wouldn't have eaten that food, you would have saved your time from doing both of them and zeroed out. But many times we fall into a situation where we over reward ourselves for what we did. And that also causes the slowdown of the weight loss progress. And like I said, or like I was saying, the refocusing and knowing that if I stay compliant, I lose weight. I've proven that to myself for the last 2 years, that the weeks where I can look back and say, hey, I stuck to it for the last 7 days, almost every time I can say, oh, I'm down. I've lost weight. There's a few times where I can say I didn't stick to my diet and I still lost weight. But most of the time it was I didn't stick to the diet and I stayed the same, or I didn't stick to the diet and I gained weight. It was compliance equals success. And so I want to see success. I need to be compliant. And that's what's helped me stay focused this time and keep it going. Colin says, yes, the second one here. The food rewards the workout, and I think it's fine, but it's overdoing it. Yeah, it's you end up thinking you're going to still be at a deficit, and yeah. Janet says, wow, 296.2. That's so great. Yahoo. Yes, thank you. I'm very happy with 296.2. So I think that's going to be about it for me today. I am very happy. I'm excited about the next week. I want to get down under 295. The kind of next mini goal for me is 285. I got the 285. That would be the lightest weight that I've been since I was 18 years old. So that's kind of my next mini goal. And then just a few, then 250, 225 kind of things. But I'm really happy to see this 2-pound weight loss. And I got 15 days left before the end of, or I guess it's, what is it? It's actually like 19 days left, till the end of October, which is the end of year 2. I'm coming up on the end of my second year. I've never stuck to anything or focused on my weight like this more than 8 or 9 months. So to be sitting here half a month away from 2 years is awesome. And I am really as good a spot as I could have imagined. I mean, obviously there's part of me at the beginning of this is like, I just want to get all the weight off right away and be done with it in the first 2 years and then maintain the last year. And it's not how it panned out, but I'm still happy with where I'm at. So, our Tiny Acres, yeah, you have a wonderful night too. I'm going to get out of here. Make sure that you get subscribed to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. Make sure you go down there and hit that thumbs up on the video right now. let everybody know that this was a good video to check out and show off my weight loss for the week. And if you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up that is more important than your health and your overall well-being. There's nobody that gets to their goals, looks back and says, man, I wish I would have waited one more weekend. You know, if I should have just waited that weekend. They had that birthday party and I should have had that cake. Nobody ever says that. Everybody who reaches their goals looks back and says, why didn't I start this sooner? So get started right now, and I will see you guys tomorrow.